use have been uploaded. And today we'll be looking at something quite very interesting. We'll be looking at a conversation that quite a number of people have been, scared to have, right? Yeah, a number of people have been scared to have these conversations. A number of people are scared that um, that these things um, will come into to take their jobs and the rest, right? So, what exactly are we talking about today? Today we'll be looking at, or this week down till probably Monday, Tuesday, we'll be taking a journey on understanding how to use artificial intelligence or on AI. So, artificial intelligence, the short word for it is AI. Now, we're not going to shy away because we have had, a lot of conversation on how. Please just a moment. I'll be there shortly. Just a moment. All right. Sorry, I just have to handle something that came in. So back to our conversation. So from now till next week, we'll be looking at AI. We'll be looking at what we can do with AI. We'll be looking at where you can actually start with AI. So we're not just going to start with tools, because one of the key things I've come to learn is the fact that a lot of people are in the conversation of AI and they have buried their idea into just thinking that AI has to just do with tools, right? So AI is beyond tools, and that is why we're going to have a deep dive conversation on it and also look into how you can actually earn as somebody who is using AI. Now, we're not going to run away with the fact that quite a number of people, every time I get to have conversation with people, and the next thing they're going to tell me is how scared they are that AI is going to take their jobs. And the first thing that comes to my mind is if someone like you, or when I mean someone like you, I mean somebody who is not upskilling, is scared of AI, then what should I now do as somebody who is already into it, right? So a lot of people have, made a lot of people to be lazy. Yeah, a lot of people to be lazy because they think that AI is the problem solving tool. And that is why I think I shared something 2 days back, and somebody was like, why didn't the person just copy from ChatGPT and pasted it? And I can tell you that whenever I see conversations or I see posts that people use that they 100% rely on AI, I know them, right? I know them, and you would see that those things are not effective. But you know that the conversation we are having now rotates around AI. So we're not going to shy away from talking about artificial intelligence, right? And what it can do. We cannot shy away from it, right? And this is why I didn't just jump in for us to talk about tools, right? I didn't just jump in for us to talk about tools. What I made sure I did is I want you to have a deep dive understanding of what AI is even before we use them. So, what exactly is artificial intelligence? Now, you know that artificial intelligence is actually the full word for AI, and it is the science of making machines think, learn, and solve problems like human beings. A science. So, which means that this is to tell us that AI in itself does not do the job, right? There is actually what we call machine learning, right? There's actually what we call machine learning, and that is actually we training training the AI tool to think on our behalf, to learn from us, and then solve problems, right? And that is why, for someone like me that uses AI a lot, and over time, I have GPTs that I have built. And what I've done with those GPTs is I have customized the GPTs to think like me. So anytime I want to actually work with that tool, I am specific. I'll tell it. When I do my prompting, I will tell it that I want you to think exactly like Sonia's style. Then you get to see that the AI will, like for example, for ChatGPT or any custom GPT I'm using, it will say, okay, it has activated to think like Sonia. And this is exactly the procedures to how I think. This is the exact procedure to how I write. This is the exact procedure to a lot of things around me, right? This is to tell us that these machines cannot just work on its own, right? AI tools cannot just work on its own. The current GPT I'm building, I'm actually building a, a GPT to help freelancers um and to earn at least $1,000 per month. And to like show you the custom things that GPT is currently doing, right? It's giving real strategies to how you having a particular skill set can actually monetize your skills. In as much as um this tool does not work on itself, what I have been able to do is I've been able to feed data, I've been able to feed solutions to to this GPT. So I've given it, okay, what is the problem people are having? And you're going to believe with me that over time, after doing a lot of research, I understood that we're not having a skill problem, but we are having a how to make money from it problem, right? How to make money um, from your skill. So how to actually make money from your skill, that is the problem we are having. And I decided to build a tool, right, that helps helps freelancers um and at least 1,000 USD monthly, right? So daily, this um this AI tool will be able to work with a freelancer. And when we talk about freelancers, we mean people that actually have skills and they want to make money from it. So every day it is solving a particular problem. And what is the problem? The problem of how to make money from that skill. So, and that exactly is what AI is all about. It is you, the ability to make the machine. It's a science to learn and solve problems. But over time, I see that a lot of people are, in fact, no longer 100% or 1000% relying on AI, right? And that is why we have a lot of dumb people using AI tools. So what a lot of people do is, this is why they just go into the pool and they have zero room for creativity. So the ability for you to be able to tell um, machines how to think, learn, and solve problems is actually called prompting, right? And one thing I want you to know is that the moment you understand the ability of prompting, right, using AI tools becomes one of the simplest things. So tomorrow we are going to look at um, a deep understanding of what AI tools are. I think late last year, I took a diploma on I took like a 1 year diploma on AI, right? So for 1 year, I have been learning AI. I think then in school we spent close to 3 months learning what prompting is, right? So that ability, the moment you understand prompting, you no longer go to that AI to maybe you go to ChatGPT now and say, generate a happy birthday message for my friend, right? That is actually a very dumb way to prompt to this AI tool, right? So tomorrow we are going to understand what prompting is, and then you're going to have a lot of resources, not really resources, but a lot of exercises that you are going to do right around AI tools. So that is what AI is all about, and your ability to make machine think, to learn and solve problems just like you will think of it. So if you spend your life now, rather than teaching the machine how to learn, how to think, and also how to solve problems, and you are copying from it, there will be a lot of errors in the future. Now, the thing is, these errors might not be visible, but over time, imagine medical doctors. I know somebody that told me that. I was like, okay, how are you going to do this assignment? And the person is a medical doctor. And he was like, Shebi, there is ChatGPT. So now the question is, can you trust a doctor that actually learned, that did all his assignments, maybe a surgeon that did all his assignments using ChatGPT? He might have had actually passed in school, but he does not even have zero idea of how most of the procedures are being done, right? Or how they work. So back to the business of the day. We're going to look at how AI and human intelligence work. So there are a few things I want you to take note about AI, and then that's the difference in key features between AI and human intelligence. And in AI, now the feature number one is the feature of emotions, right? So most times your humans have emotions, and that is why when something goes wrong, you find out that you, as a normal human being, you're already feeling bad. Hey, yeah, oh, sorry about what has happened to you and this, right? But for AI has zero human feelings. But I'm beginning to love ChatGPT because ChatGPT is beginning to, hey, yeah, sometimes when I'm using ChatGPT will be like, oh, let me talk to you like a big sister. But it's still doesn't forget the rule that AIs are being built with zero evolution, right? And then the learning style. Now, in human learning, experience, senses, and feelings are actually what make somebody to learn. And that is why there are certain times where if you don't like the experience, you will not be able to learn properly from that thing. But in AI, all you need to do is to feed data to it. And that is why I remember I said something. I said I'm building a custom GPT. Now, what I've been able to do is so early this year, I decided to, I think in between last year, it makes it 1 year. I decided to build a custom GPT for myself. And what did I do with the custom GPT? I told the GPT that I actually want to earn 100 million, right? That was actually what I wanted to do. And what I've been able to do is um, I decided that anything I have done between the process of me making 100 million in 1 year, I was going to feed that data into the $1,000, how to earn $1,000 a month. So what does that mean? It means that over time, that AI tool or that custom GPT I built has learned from me, right? Has learned strategy that has worked. So there are certain things that I've been able to do that didn't work, and there were certain things that I did that worked. So even as much as I might not be able to disclose the total people, my company did not make 100 million, but we made something close to that amount before the year run out, right? That was um to the end of May. We were able to do quite a whole lot of figures. And it didn't make sense to me not until early this year when we we closed a deal of about 9 figures. And that was when I got to understand that anything you fit into an AI tool, if it is actually logical, right? Just the way we said, it doesn't work with it does not have empathy. So because you have feed in data to it, you have feed in patterns, right? The crazy thing I did was I had a list of things I wanted to buy, and I was like, you have to be able to wake me up, and I want you to wake me up in such a way that whatever I do that I'm not doing the right thing, it will remind me that I have something I need to achieve, right? So what it did over that 1 year period was because I have fed patterns and data to it. It made sure that it was giving me compound effect of what I was doing. So now, building the 1,000 and higher challenge for me is now easy. Why? Because all I needed to do was to pick the data that has worked in the 100 million a year challenge for me into the 1,000 challenge. So imagine a logic that has been able to do roughly over 50 million now being fed to do a job of $1,000. Of course, you would expect that it will have an ultra fast processing power, and that is where the speed of thinking comes in AI. And that is why the moment you go into an AI tool, probably to ChatGPT now, and tell ChatGPT you drop 5 pages with ChatGPT, you find out that in less than a second, ChatGPT would have processed everything. But imagine giving somebody a 2 page and telling the person to read, right? The person will take time. The person will have to process it. The person will have to, you understand? So, fast thinking, the speed of thinking in AI is ultra fast. And the memory, Sometimes I was telling somebody randomly that anything that happened last week I can't remember. And I don't know if it's old age or if I'm actually sick or it is actually the spirit of forgetfulness of the children, right? So sometimes I walk into the room, I don't even remember what I came to pick, right? I don't remember what I came to, and that brings what I call humans are bound to forget. They are limited. And that is why something that has happened 5 years ago, it is, even if you remember, it is flashes of it. But in AI, anything you feed into it, it is nearly impossible for that AI tool to forget. And that is why if you feed bad things to your AI tools, it's only bad things that the AI tool will remember and wickedness to just add. In as much as it doesn't have emotions, it will feel a lot of wicked things for you. Then another thing is creativity, abstract, spontaneous for human beings. So this is to tell us that human beings are abstract. And that is why imagine you leveraging your power of creativity, you bringing your abstract thoughts, right? Your abstract thoughts, your abstract creativity into something that is being structured. You find out that over time, you are not making the AI tool to be powerful. Why? Because you think roughly. Your AI tool is supposed to help you polish your thoughts. And that is why I want to apply for a job and I'm currently using my chat GPT. The first thing I usually do is when I see a role that I like, I have a custom GPT that thinks basically like me. In fact, if you ask the GPT who I am, it's going to tell you like a full places that I have worked and the rest, product and why, because I have trained it over time to think like me. So whenever I see a role right, and I feel I can do it, what I do is I copy the job role and the first question I prompt and ask that GPT is, am I fit for this role? So now, using the entire data it knows about, it's going to tell me where my strengths are and where my abilities does not fit into the role and what I should push more effort in all that. So it is now left for me to sit down with my notepad, look into what it has told me, and I now decide to come up with an abstract thought that I feed into it and it gives me something powerful, right? It gives me something powerful. So hopefully we would look at how do you use AI to find jobs? How do you use AI to structure your CV? How do you use it for proposals? I will try to make sure that I do justice to that task. And then lastly, decision making. Human beings have emotions. And that is why when you meet a beggar after he has finished telling you your story, in there, you put your hand in your purse and you give him something. But in AI, it is data driven. So if the data says don't give anybody money, it will leave you, you finish say everything you want to say, it's going to leave you. And that is why if you go to ChatGPT now, for example, or Gemini and ask that it, it gives you money, it's going to tell you, hey, yeah, I don't give money. Why? Because it is not being trained to give you money. So those are some of the key things around human intelligence and also our AI, right? Now, up to the next thing is the types of AI, right? We are not going to talk about AI without talking about the types of AI that we have. So now there are three levels of artificial intelligence, right? There are three levels of artificial intelligence. And the first one we have is narrow AI, which is the big AI. Now, this AI specializes in only one task, right? It specializes in only one part. You cannot tell it to do two things at the same time. It is one thing that is going to do. And that is why if you have your Siri and you say, Siri, turn on the light. It is, and then another person is now saying, Siri, I want to send you to the market. Siri cannot do two things at the same time. It is going to pick one thing. So, and that is why it cannot think beyond its own programming. And this is why when you are saying, oh, AI is very ChatGPT is mad, and the rest, just look at it. Okay, it cannot think beyond how it is being coded to think, right? So these are like the weak parts. As amazing as we think they are, they're actually the weakest part of artificial intelligence. And then we have the general AI, which are the strong AI, and they can think, reason, and learn like a human being. And usually they are not limited to one job, right? They're not limited to one job. So it is still a dream. We're not there yet. That's just the truth. I'm not seeing any. We're now in the era of weak AI, which is generative AI, right? The narrow AI, the generative AI. That's just the part of AI that we're into. An AI tool that just relies on generating based on the data. Till date, there is no AI tool that can feel, see, think, and reason like a human being. And that is to tell us that there are still so much work to be done, right? And we have the super AI, which are smarter than human beings, can outperform us in everything, but they are still in the minds of people, which is to tell us that it is not even still there. So when you hear people telling you that AI is going to take your jobs, what is going to affect is if you are actually not skilled enough to fit into that industry that you are. Because we are not even there, right? We are not even there. Then, where AI is being used today. So, some of the places that AI has been or it's being used are, sometimes can you see that now when you want to make posts, you're going to see that AIs are making suggestions for you on what to post to generate photos to brand, right? And in e-commerce, we are now using AI for product recommendations to upsell. So I'm currently setting up a website and I decided to feed an AI command into the e-commerce website. So based on things you have added to your cart, you should be able to upsell those things to you. And upselling means if you always are so obsessed about orange, I should be able to upsell orange juice to you. I should be able to upsell byproducts of oranges to you, right? And places like Jumia are already using it, Amazon are using it. They are using it to remind you of things you have not bought and the rest, right? Then in banking and finance, I told you previously that currently in banking and finance, people are being able to detect fraud using AI. A lot of fintech apps use it. Most traditional banks have not really, dwell into the power of AI, but you know, for you to collect loans, there are certain times you want to collect loans, but because you have collected in so many loan apps, you find out that they tell you that you have already been blacklisted. Why? Because AIs are being replaced, right? Then in the health sector. So right now we even have AI tools already diagnosing diseases, predicting treatment outcomes, and even robots are running operations that surgery on people, right? And then we have in transportation where we are having self-driving cars, Google Map traffic prediction. There are certain times if you use your Google Map very well, you find out that when you want to go to a location, it will tell you that there is currently traffic in that location. That's actually the use of AI. And um, in education, in education, we are actually having AI tutors, adaptive learning platforms, and the rest. And that is why right now you even see that we are having people are saying they're moving faceless YouTube. In fact, the reigning thing currently is the faceless YouTube channel. And I'm going to tell you that few years from now, it's just going to be because it's a hype and soon it will disappear. Right? So then the next thing is AI tools you can start using. Now, top one I have in here is ChatGPT, and you can use ChatGPT. You can active anything. You can use it to write brainstorm plan. You can always go to chat.openai.com. We have Canva AI. The beauty is Canva is not integrating AI, and I love it. Right, so you can now prompt to actually create magic in your AI tools. Tomorrow we are going to see how to, I have some prompts written. We're going to see how to use some of these AI tools for them. We have Copy AI or the Jasper AI. You can use them to generate sales copies, arts, and the rest. And usually marketers love it. We have Notion AI. If you know what Notion app is, currently Notion have integrated AI into their system. So rather than you wasting your time building a lot, you can actually just use your AI to build your journaling unit, right? And then we have Google Brat. So Brat is also there as an AI tool that also works similarly to um, ChatGPT. We have Gemini. Gemini is also being powered by AI. So as I'm currently taking this class, Gemini is currently taking note of the class. It's writing all the written text for me. Why? Because that is actually what it is. It is actually that intelligent. And then we have like remote.bg, which actually removes um photo backgrounds. Now, for each remove photo backgrounds, which is because there are AI capabilities in it. So it's able to dictate that this is the photo in here. Don't put the photo here, but remove the backgrounds in this place. So over time, we're going to look at some key AI tools and actually how to use them, maybe for design. We're just going to pick probably some few tools that you can use for your graphic designs, you can use for your writing copies, you can also use for video creation, right? For your video creation and quite a number of things. We're just going to look at some key AI tools around them. And then what are some of the careers in tech? And that was why I added new degree. You see, one of the beauties that I love tech is the ability that tech gives. And I was randomly telling somebody, if not for tech, I honestly don't know where I'll be. So I'm not here to talk about my school, but I've actually been in I wrote jam like I think about 4 times and I didn't get admission. So although currently I'm in university, I'm currently studying law, as crazy as it is. I'm not even studying computer science, so I'm studying law and I'm not even sure that even after studying law I may practice. Why? Because AI, I said AI tech has come and given me a new bridge that there is no place I work in that they ask me what did you study. I'm just doing it because let me just shall go to the school. But I'm not saying that because I'm saying shall let me go to school. It doesn't mean that I'm not a first class and player. No, that is not somebody said my network is breaking. Please, is my network breaking? Can you hear me?
I can
Let
hear
me
you
know.
clear from my end. I can hear you clear from my end.
Please, can somebody come in and tell me if they're hearing me so I know if I should activate my second network? Nobody is responding. Please, is my voice breaking? Let me know. Okay, so I think it's your group, it's your network. So as I was saying, in fact, I'm being honest with you that almost nobody would actually watch your story. And if you think I'm lying, please, anytime anybody, you feel anybody, use me as a case study, right? Tell them to use me as a case study. So I have, I'm just in 211, but I have over 7 years of experience in tech. And it has given me access to those that I tell you, if I was just sitting and waiting for a job, what would I have been doing now? Right? So, and it has fetched me money that I'm not sure if my degree would have fetched me that as well. Right? So, there are careers in AI. So, in as much as a lot of people are scared that AI is going to coming to take their job, there are a lot of opportunities in AI. And I'm thinking that for my master's degree, I want to take a master's in artificial intelligence. No, yeah, over time, that is actually what I'm going to do. I'm going to take a master's in artificial intelligence, right? So some of the careers here we have in tech is the AI prompt engineer. So tomorrow we'll be looking at prompt engineering, and I'm trying to tell you that there are people whose responsibilities are sitting down to teach these AI tools based on prompts. We have data analysts, right? So if you are somebody who is a data analyst, you should be able to start thinking, how do you how are you going to leverage AI into what you are doing? You saw, how are you going to leverage AI into sewing? You might not afford um to have a robot, but how are you bringing these AI tools into your disposal, into helping you to actually make money, right? So you do you know that now, some, for example, in 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 in, in fashion, you can actually decide to design how you want your design to be. So even if you're having a bad phone, as long as you have the picture, you can improve it with AI. And what do you think it will do to you? It will increase your sales. So it should be more of, how do I leverage AI into what I do, over how do I jump to do this thing. Another career path of AI is an AI content creator. And that is why currently I told you that we're in an era where a lot of people are doing, what do you call it? They are doing faceless YouTube channel and the rest. So we have AI content creators. We have chatbots developers. These are people that build AI chatbots that can actually learn probably what you're doing and help you over time. Then we have tech trainers. There will be a lot of people who will be training and doing. I'm not sure I'll be part of that, but I know for sure that there will be a lot of people to train. Then we have automation specialists. And being a part I love so much because I love automation. And I tell you that even in programming, programming has changed over time because of AI. So I pity people that are just sitting down to continue building. Now we are doing more AI agents, automations, right? So no, start with tools, go into skills and build into income. Start with the tools. Now that you have knowledge of what AI is, that is why I didn't start with what AI is. I wanted you to have an idea of what AI is, the possibility of AI tools. You can over time grow it into your skills, and you see that you are building more into your income, right? Or you're building more into it. So now, lastly, you don't need to be a techie to win with AI. I know that quite a long number of us, we are hoping that we are waiting to be tech gurus first before we get started. We actually do not need that, right? And another thing is, start where you are. If it's a GPT that you know, start with, just start, just start. You use AI to enhance your work. What you are currently doing, how do you enhance your work with it? Simple and short. And one other most important thing, yesterday when I was talking about personal branding, is you must think like a solution provider. A lot of us don't think like solution people. A lot of us, we are just consumers. How do you consume this thing? You're not thinking of how to create a, a solution around it. And then you're going to always stay curious. Like when you have an open mind to learning, I assure you that every day there are a lot of AI tools. But one thing I'm going to tell you is don't go with the noise. You see, every day when I wake up, I see a lot of people come in to say, oh, this thing, this thing, this thing. I promise myself that there is no noise that is actually going to disturb me, right? There's no noise that is going to disturb me. Why? Because I'm only going to use what solves my problem, right? I'm going to use what solves my problem. So we must stay on the edge of learning, right? And then closing code. AI will not take your job. It is somebody that is using AI that will take your job. But I assure you that there is never a time where AI is going to come and take your job. It is that one person that actually understands how to use AI that is going to come take your job. It is now the person who is using AI for video editing that will take your job, not the AI itself. I see a lot of people fighting with the AI tools, right? Rather than putting it to solve problems, you are fighting with it. You are thinking that okay, this thing is going to come take my job, so let me fight it. But telling you today that if there's anything you did not take, take this one. AI will not take your job. 10 years to come, AI will not take your job. It is that one person that knows how to use AI that is coming to take your job. So tomorrow we are going to look at what prompt engineering is. It's going to be a very exciting class because that means I studied prompt engineering for like the whole semester, like 3 months. So I don't know how I'll be able to compress prompt engineering in 1 hour, but tomorrow will be a very amazing class because if you don't understand what prompt engineering is, you will not be able to use AI tools to solve your problems, right? So this brings us to the end of our class. I don't know if we actually have any questions we want to have. Do we have questions? Please, are there questions? Let me grant access so that you will be informed. Please, are there questions? So I assume we don't have any question. I believe that we all enjoyed the class because uh, actually want it. Uh, we can all have a beautiful night rest. And yeah, are there specific AI for specific fields? Kind of, yes, in fact, but not necessarily specific for a field. And let me explain. Now, remember that I talked about AI as, let me just open the new one. AI is a tool, right? AI is a tool. So, what it means is we are using the tool to solve problems, right? We are using that AI tool to solve the problem. So, over time, there are tools that works better. Let's say for you need tools for video editing, right? There are tools that work better for it. We need tools for predicting data. There are tools that work better for it. So not exactly that there are specific AI tools for a specific field, but There are certain times where there are specific tools for that specific job you want to do. And that is why if you use ChatGPT now to generate a video, it's not going to give you video. You know why? It is not the tool for you. It can only help you to probably generate the script, right? If you use ChatGPT to predict data, you might not get the accurate data. Why? Because it is not being used, right? So, but I will just tomorrow we're going to look at even more complex tools for specific skills. I actually have some tools such as I have tools that helps you for research, programming, graphic design, image generation, tools that helps you to do from text to video, project management, email marketing, data analytics, video editing, um, file management, generating music, data analysis, AI development, quite a lot of tools, right? So I have quite a number of them that I have kept in place and we're going to talk about them. And over time, if we cannot talk about them, I pray for the grace to be able to create videos on them so that you'll be able to take them, right, and understand how to actually use them. And over time, I'm trying to see how to put out maybe guides on how people who are probably in the food industry, how they can use AI, tailors can use AI, and quite a number of skill sets, especially traditional skill sets. That's the tangible ones to see how they can actually use them. So I don't know, do you have further, do you have any more question? So in the midst of the silence, we're going to bid ourselves good night. So please